footballer. Talk about a gallant effort. Barry playing through the illness for the people, for the people.
Yeah, because Barry was at the Jags bar on the weekend watching
drinking the
Jags
teal
Jets.
juice.
Yeah, you can't go to that place without contracting a disease.
The problem is that I actually don't feel sick. Like my throat doesn't hurt, my nose isn't stuffy. It's just my voice is shot because I've just been talking a ton for the last 2 weeks. And now all of a sudden
Famous last words.
Right, exactly.
Well, you should just start breathing on Connor to kind of figure
just
it
be
out.
you sitting here by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I regret
Wednesday show.
I regret us making out before the show.
Yeah,
that was
a bad move.
I apologize. Yeah.
I'll be here with Lawrence tomorrow.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. That's right, Matthew drinks Robitussin in a small quantity for free. I promised and delivered. I'm with Lawrence.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Here I am.
We're giving Matthew's voice a rest today.
Yeah,
but
get better, Matthew. No comparisons of Matthew Berry anymore to Michael Pittman or Josh Jacobs, who show up on the injury report and then play on Sundays. Matthew, he is not here today, but we hope that he gets better.
K. Gemma said the sickler. Yeah. And Stuntman Chuck said the Robin Tussler. I don't know if that one rolls off the tongue the same way.
The Rope Tussler.
The chat, big fan of Lawrence repping UNC today.
Yeah,
it's a backup producer, Pete Day. Matthew decided.
Shout out to Billy B.
Yep. All right, we got Keep It Open or Close It Out. League of Assholes update, by the way, as the fantasy playoffs roll on. Are you both still alive?
I am.
We in it to win it.
Yeah.
Well, I had a bye.
Yeah.
Whoa! But this is both bye weeks.
You know what I noticed something too, Connor, about that. Coming into this week, because we have $100 fab in our league, right? I had $87 left.
Didn't even break a sweat.
So I ain't even care. I'm just out there. Bryce Young. Who else I had? Michael Penix. We got Shador in at quarterback. We just having fun now.
Yeah. I have $98 left as well. I haven't paid a lot of attention to the league. It's the key. Just draft well and sit back.
Wow, this is unbelievable right now. You should start sniping people that actually need players. I'll spend $20 on Tyler Shuck.
I actually used 33 this week, though. I believe it was to get Gardner Minshew, the Kansas City Chiefs' new starting quarterback, going up against the Titans this week. I don't know, so we'll see how that go.
All right, well, bar trivia and our Back to the Futures, as we always do to close out the show on Wednesdays. But let's get into the Rotoworld player news, guys, because we have some big news at the top of the show. The Dolphins have benched Tua Tagovailoa. It's not Zach Wilson that's going to start Sunday against the Bengals. It is the rookie in Quinn Ewers. So obviously not a lot of people were starting Tua, Lawrence. But what's the fallout here for the players that we care about, starting with Devon Achane?
Yeah, well, Devon Achane just had an incredible season. I think no matter what, no matter who's under center, you're still going to start Devon Achane. When it comes to the pass catchers, you got Jalen Waddle, who hasn't been great. Even coming into Week 15, he had been wide receiver 22 over the last 4 weeks. That probably takes a little bit more of a hit when you look at a guy like Darren Waller now, more touchdown dependent. That's kind of the same with him. That's the guy you start if you're really in need for a tight end. But Devon Achane is the guy you automatically start. Jalen Waddle, you start him, but you got to temper the expectations there, and that's just how you go about it with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, kind of the market moved 4 points in direction of the Bengals after Tua was formally benched. So the line went from Bengals -1.5 to -5.5. Now, Tua hasn't been good this year. He hasn't had a good season. He's still, you would expect, a better quarterback than Quinn Ewers for this week.
Right. And at home.
Yeah, and what do you expect from Quinn Ewers? What kind of player is he, and what's he going to do even with a favorable matchup?
This is a tough one because this is a guy that his last year of college football, the accuracy wasn't where we hoped it would be. He'll like to move around a little bit to try to buy some time, but I think you're going to see a lot of quick game like we often see with Tua. That's what Texas did with Quinn Ewers more often than not. He wasn't somebody that was looking to just constantly chuck the ball down the field. So I would imagine that you're going to see a lot of swing passes and dump-offs to Achane. I'm very concerned about Waddle. I have no idea how to project Darren Waller because we can call him touchdown dependent, but he's really good in the red zone, and it's a great matchup against the Bengals where you might just have to stream him anyway. So Achane, probably a little bit of the same in the pass game. You worry about the Bengals selling out against the run, even though they're not good against it. I definitely downgrade Waddle because I don't trust Quinn Ewers throwing outside the numbers in this game.
Yeah, unless they're going to get Jalen Waddle the ball in that short area. I really don't see it. You can't expect Quinn Ewers to throw with as much anticipation as Tua either. That's probably where their biggest gap is. But for Tua, that's probably why he's on the bench now, because he tries to anticipate too much and has those predetermined throws. So you won't get that part of it from Quinn Ewers. You get a little bit mobility, like you said, not the strongest arm, don't got the weakest arm either. But again, it's a rookie, even versus a bad defense like the Bengals. You got to proceed with caution.
Yeah, my concern would be too is that it seems like this Mike McDaniel system, has been very tailored to Tua.
Without a doubt.
When Tua has missed time in the past, which has been pretty often, it has completely fallen apart without him. Tyler Huntley last year, Skylar Thomas, it just never looks good without Tua. So Quinn Ewers, there might be a higher degree of difficulty than you'd expect, despite being in a good scheme with some useful weapons.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be really interesting to watch, because at least it's a good landing for Quinn Ewers matchup-wise, to some extent. But if you're starting Devon Achane in the semis, or you're streaming Darren Waller throughout the playoffs, you're kind of holding on tight right now. But you have to start Achane. You're not going to sit Achane.
Yeah, definitely.
If anything, hopefully they run the ball a little bit more, which is something they got away from the other night.
Yep. Also, NFL-wise, firstly, Tyler Hammond. Waller or Kelsey this week with both backups, 12-team PPR. I would still go Kelsey.
And that's where I will go Kelsey. You got a veteran, journeyman quarterback right there who at least you have seen him play a good game in his life in the NFL, whereas you got Quinn Ewers, late round draft pick, just getting in there. So, yeah, definitely will go Kelsey here.
Yeah, I feel like Kelsey gives you a better floor.
Definitely. Deeper cut, but this is good news for the Bucs and the Patriots, who played the Dolphins in Week 17, Week 18. Understand Tua has not been great, but, to the market's point about downgrading the Dolphins 4 points off of this QB change, those two teams are right now in the thick of it in divisional races, so getting to play a rookie quarterback. What was he taking? What round was he taking?
Sixth, seventh.
Quinn, I think the seventh round.
Seventh round, yeah. So face a seventh rounder as opposed to Tua Tagovailoa, who knows the offense inside. Now, naturally, it's a big win for the Bucs and the Patriots. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the keep it open or close it out. We will answer your start-sit dilemmas here in the fantasy football playoffs, and we start with Justin Herbert against the Cowboys, which in theory, a really nice matchup for Justin Herbert. The problem is 5 straight games with under 15 fantasy points. For Matthew right now, Jay, he has him as QB 11 coming into the week. This line has not been able to protect Herbert, but they've kind of found a way despite that.
Yeah, Justin Herbert is a chubby leather daddy, and despite being anchored to the bench for much of the season behind Jalen Hurts and Daniel Jones, he will be starting for me in the playoffs this week. I don't feel great about it, but could feel worse about it too, because the Cowboys' defense has become a bit of a pass funnel defense since Quinn Williams got there and has shored up the run game. We saw J.J. McCarthy just have one of the best games of his career. Against Dallas, we saw Jared Goff do whatever he wanted through the air against Dallas 2 weeks ago as well. So I think that Herbert, despite the fact that the offensive line is just not giving him a chance, the fact that he's still Justin Herbert and is running around and still has his receivers and still can create outside of structure, I'd be keeping it open for the most part, reluctantly.
I'm gonna keep it open, even though he hasn't finished better than QB 17 in a week since week 9. That's a large sample size, but you brought it up, Jay. What J.J. McCarthy was able to do versus Dallas gives you a lot of confidence of what Justin Herbert could do. J.J. McCarthy, QB 6 last week against the Dallas Cowboys. So with Justin Herbert facing this Dallas defense that just got put out of the playoffs, they're searching for answers. They'll play hard still.
Right.
They still going to try to, ruin the Chargers season. But you got a Justin Herbert who, and I love what Justin Herbert has done this year with his legs. He's been running this season more than ever, probably because he has to. But that's a part of his game. And, in fantasy, 50 rushing yards, get you 5 points. I'm keeping it open.
And a reminder, this game is the 3rd highest total for Week 16 at 49.5 points. Aloha Bricks. Hello there, friend. Herbert or Stroud this week, guys?
Herbert for me because of the rushing ability and the fact that Stroud can play well and be 260 passing yards and no
Might
touchdowns.
not throw no touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Justin Herbert here, too, as well.
Yep. Seamless transition, by the way, from backup producer Pete going from Tua Tagovailoa segment to a Justin Herbert segment, echoing their draft selection.
A lot of debate around that for years. I think it's finally come to an end.
It's been resolved.
Well,
it's been resolved.
I'll tell you what, it was about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I'm sorry. I was like, Tua is playing quarterback better than Justin Herbert today in this season. So probably like 8 games ago, I quote tweeted that same one. It was like, this is not the case anymore.
Good PR move.
It probably wasn't last year, but Tua was having like a great year. But yeah, so yeah, we could.
I'm old enough to remember in 2023, like halfway into the season, Tua Tagovailoa was the MVP favorite.
Yeah,
He's literally the MVP favorite.
Things happen quick.
They
really do.
Fell off after
This
that.
is by far his worst year, but yeah, Justin Herbert, the guy.
All right, let's go to the running backs. Quinshon Judkins. He's got the Bills. Consecutive games with under 30 rushing yards for Quinshon Judkins, which seems hard to believe, Lawrence, because the volume is always there for him, and volume for a running back against the Bills usually leads to good things.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot, and I'll keep it open. This is why. I still think that Buffalo Bills run defense got some leaks in there. We saw it last week with Travion Henderson. Quinshon Judkins doesn't have that type of explosiveness, but you could say he's as good of a running back, just on a much worse team. Running backs that face the Bills this season are averaging over 5 yards a carry, and that's a place that Judkins hasn't excelled in the yards per carry department. What concerns me is he hasn't gotten those 20 carries these past few games, so that's a concern here, especially when they're double-digit underdogs. But how else are you going to get there? You need that run game to work. Attack this great team where they're the weakest. That's the run game. I'm going to leave it open.
Yeah, I think Judkins is a tough one because he gets so much volume and he's so short of volume each week. The issue is that, and it's not a question of his talent, I think he's a very talented running back, but his run blocking has been atrocious all season. There's no space in that offense because the box is just loaded because there are no receivers who really scare you. And Connor, to me, the issue as well is that the defense the past 2 weeks is not the defense that it was in the first 13 weeks or so of the season, where it was like a top 3 defense in the league. And the fact that they have sprung leaks gives you less confidence that there's going to be game script where this game is close enough for Judkins to be getting many carries in the second half.
That's the fear, is that there's a world where what if they're down 3 touchdowns legitimately at the start of the third quarter, and it's like, well, Judkins now gets 3 carries the rest of the game.
Hold on. Are they getting any of their linemen back this week? Because they was down 4 of their starting offensive
We'll
line.
get our injury reports today.
He hasn't had any run blocking whoever's been in there. So.
Right.
I need some. I just need some linemen in there to help the brother out, But yeah.
Our next running back, Aaron Jones against the Giants. 4 straight games with under 10 fantasy points. You're seeing a theme here. A lot of players that are trending the wrong direction, but have a matchup that makes you think maybe I could get away with this one more time. Aaron Jones, Lawrence, is RB20 for Matthews, so seems like a fringe believer that the Giants can kind of fix his woes.
This one I'll keep open by a little bit, and it's because of the receiving work here. He's had a 14% target share since Week 10, going up against this Giants team that's given up the 6th most receptions to running backs. We know that's Aaron Jones's. That's kind of his claim to fame right now in this Vikings offense. Last week he had over 30 receiving yards. So if he's going to give me that, then he'll get enough carries. He'll get the double-digit carries. If you can get 30, 40 receiving yards, I'm going to keep it open versus the Giants.
Yeah, healthy target share in recent weeks for Aaron Jones. I think the main thing is that the Giants, they look like a team that had given up against the Commanders.
The defense especially.
Showing. Also, the Patriots did whatever they wanted the previous matchup there. So this Giants team very much running out the season. They've been, efficiency-wise, one of the worst rush defenses ever in NFL history, with the Jahmyr Gibbs game a few weeks ago being kind of the defining one there. Joe the Singing Bro, 34-14. Hello, Joe. Tyrone Tracy or Aaron Jones? Who do you like here, Lawrence?
Based on last week, I had to go Tyrone
He looks
Tracy.
great.
18 touches, almost 100 yards from scrimmage, the 2 touchdowns. They didn't waste any time making him the leader of that, I guess, committee you could call it, but it was more 65-35 in favor of Tyrone Tracy, so I'll go with him.
Do you think he'll stick as the running back in New York long term?
Well, it depends on how long this Scadaboo recovery is going to take. What I liked when they drafted Scadaboo was that they're so different. Tracy, former wide receiver, you can get him in space, and then Scadaboo's kind of this downhill thumper. But at that point of the season, they just completely got away from all their running backs, ran Scadaboo into the ground. So I don't think this will ever be a backfield that should just have one guy. But it's been frustrating how much until last week Singletary was getting work over Tracy when you should just give Tracy most of those touches, which feels like Kafka's leaning into that now. I agree with you, Lawrence. I would probably start Tyrone Tracy this week in this spot. Just way higher receiving ceiling. And Ved asking here, Judkins or Tyrone Tracy?
I would go Tracy just because of the downside with Judkins, where there's just all these Judkins games. You look at the box score and it's like, 11 carries for 21 yards at the moment for Judkins, and so you just worry about the game script getting out of hand against Buffalo. I understand that Buffalo's run defense is not particularly good, but Judkins has gone up against bad run defenses in the past, and it hasn't really mattered because everyone just loads the box.
It has to happen for They're 10-point underdogs. I feel better about the Giants being able to get closer to scoring range at a higher clip at this point.
All right, our last running back, guys, Ashton Jeanty against the Texans. It has been a tough rookie year for Ashton Jeanty and what's been an awful year for the Raiders. He's got 14 total fantasy points in his last 2 games, Jay, and he runs through the buzzsaw that is Houston. I can't imagine a world, unless you just have no other players, where you have to start Ashton Jeanty in the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, kind of a terrifying graphic here to see Ashton Jeanty 1 spot behind Kenneth Gainwell and 2 spots ahead of the great Michael Carter of the Arizona Cardinals. This would have been stuff and nightmares if you saw this after drafting Jeanty in the preseason. But yeah, I think it has to be a close. There's just no hope in this Raiders offense. This has been, arguably the worst team in the NFL this year. It is getting worse, not better. As well, looks like Geno Smith is going to be back. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad or an indifferent thing. But going up against the Texans. Did you watch Kenny Pickett
last week?
I actually thought Pickett,
because when Pickett got in there, I'm like, all right, let's let him play, whatever, Then I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I thought Pickett might give him something after what he showed the week prior.
If you got Brock Bowers and you still in the fantasy playoffs, you probably would rather have Geno in there. Because it was just a complete stinker. Like Ashton Jeanty's not working in fantasy right now, but at least Brock Bowers is to some degree every other week. So, but for me with Ashton Jeanty, same thing. Hasn't had more than 35 rushing yards in 3 straight games, fellas. And the thing we'd been saying in previous weeks was like, he's getting a lot of targets, 6, 7, 8 targets. But now it's just not adding up to the fantasy points that we need. So definitely going to close it out versus this Houston Texans team that are 14.5-point favorites.
I was laughing. I saw this in the chat and didn't even ask Pete to air it, but I'm glad he did. I was going to read it. Ryan B., you guys are killing me. I have Jeanty and Judkins on the same team.
Well, congratulations. Your season's still alive, apparently.
If there's anybody out there that has the question coming up, Judkins or Jeanty, I would say Quinshon Judkins. But for you, my friend, you just got to pray.
Yeah.
You got to pray. And hope for the talent, hope that the talent just some way finds its through all that other stuff they going through, but it's tough sledding for you.
You might be grabbing Michael Carter on waivers.
Yeah, well, my team, as I mentioned, got a bye. My 2 starting running backs are Quinshon Judkins and Jaylen Warren. So
there you go.
Going to have to lean heavily on JSN and Amon-Ra.
Ryan, the number 1 seed, baby. Wow, Ryan, your receivers must be unbelievable in that spot. All right, let's get to the wide receivers here. Rashee Rice, he's got the Titans. We mentioned it, fellas. Gardner Minshew is starting this game. But, Jay, I don't think that leads to any kind of downgrade in a great matchup for Rashee Rice.
No, I think Rashee Rice should still see plenty of targets, even without Patrick Mahomes. You look at his stats since Week 7, 12th in the NFL in target share, 5th in targets per game. He's been getting a lot of work. He's been the 6th best receiver in fantasy since week 7 by points per game. And look, Gardner Minshew, this isn't a Tim Boyle situation at all. Minshew has shown that he can operate offenses before. He's in a decent system with Andy Reid, even if it's not imposing as has been in years past. And the issue with Minshew is not so much that, like, Minshew is more on the Nick Mullins scale where he can compile yards. It's just that he's not going to feel the pressure for the strip sack, or he's going to throw some crazy interception. But he'll complete passes, he'll rack it up.
In a lot, like, they probably won't win the game that day, although they should win versus the Titans. But like you said, he's good enough for us in fantasy to get our receivers the ball. That's evidenced by, look, last year Jacoby Myers averaged 14 fantasy points per game. With Gardner Minshew, year before that, Michael Pittman averaged 16 fantasy points per game. That's in 2023, also with Gardner Minshew. So I'm not too worried about him being able to get him the ball, because whatever Minshew does outside of that, it doesn't affect Rashee Rice. Going to keep that open.
All right, this one, Berry Pie, Youth,
88?
I don't know. Rice or JMO?
Berry Pie Youth, the 88, maybe. I would go Rashee Rice, even though I think it's close now. Jameson Williams not quite ready to put him. I mean, Matthew has Rashee Rice as wide receiver 9. Not quite ready to call JMO a top 8 wide receiver. JMO is 10th for Matthew, so he's right there, but I would go Rice.
You know, I would go JMO here. 52 over-under in this game, and they need it. We saw Zay Flowers have a nice little day versus these Steelers. None of the receivers on the Dolphins did, but it's the Dolphins, and we just saw Tua get benched, right? I think it's very close, though. It's like, I don't know, Rashee Rice is the #1 receiver, though.
Yeah, I just think with volume, like if you need more upside.
Give me Rashee Rice. Give me Rashee. I'll take the wide receiver 1 on his team over the wide receiver 2 in a better offense.
I think as well something that biases a little bit on Jameson Williams is that the Lions have been throwing a ton. Like, they've been playing from behind. They were behind in that Packers game. When Amon-Ra went out in that game, they were behind in the second half against the Rams and compiled a lot of yards late. So they're 7-point favorites in this game against the Steelers. They should be back into kind of Lions game scripts of being able to run the ball in the second half. So for those reasons, I would lean Rashee Rice.
Sad to have Justin Jefferson on this list, guys, but 3 straight games under 5. 5 fantasy points. You don't have to hear it from us. Listen to Justin Jefferson on how tough this season's been.
Of course, this is a difficult year, just with the circumstances, having new quarterback, new guys to the team, trying to figure stuff out. So it's just one of those difficult years to really, think back on and to really reflect after the season. But I'm proud of myself into not showing the frustration, not really showing my emotions out there on the field, and just really being the leader that I am, being the captain that I am, because I know so many people are looking at me and really waiting for my reaction and waiting for me to show my emotions. So I'm proud of myself to being patient, sticking with the game plan, sticking with the guys that we have on this team, and just being myself.
I'm sticking with him too, but boy, you could tell. He itching to let that A.J. Brown out his system. He is itching. And it's probably because, as crazy as it sounds, he hasn't had over 25 receiving yards in 3 straight games, yet he still got a shot at 1,000 yards this year. Yep. Less than 170 yards away. What do they got? 3 more games to go? To get to 1,000 yards. The good thing about it is at least a 28% target share in 7 of the 8 games with J.J. McCarthy this season. So J.J. McCarthy, he knows who to throw the ball to. It just ain't working out. The one pass might be off, but he's getting better. The kid at quarterback, he's gotten better over the past 2 weeks. So I'm going to stick with him, with Justin Jefferson, for that reason. I'm going to keep it open on him. What say you, Jay?
Yeah, also, Justin Jefferson's trending in the right direction. He's gone from 4 yards to 11 to 22. He might even get 30
see
yards
that right there?
this week.
30 yards
the
and a
numbers.
touchdown.
So the Brosma was the nadir. That was wrong bottom because Jefferson on the sideline in Seattle being like, what the hell is going on? It's Max Brosma is Will Levising pick sixes to the Seahawks defense. But yeah, the key is the targets and also just the confidence that J.J. McCarthy is looking much more like he belongs the past couple of weeks. It is a very favorable matchup against the Giants secondary that just got torched by Marcus Mariota. So eventually these passes are just going to connect. Jefferson, I think, is going to have a big game before the season ends. And it's very likely going to be this one, right?
This is crazy to say. I'd actually start him with confidence this week.
Yeah.
It's got to.
Also, too, Kevin O'Connell said, I don't want him to not get 1,000 yards on my watch.
They know.
He's getting that.
They know. JJ knows. And let's be real. He was wide open in the back corner of the end zone on one. I thought JJ threw it a little hard, and it's one that Jefferson usually catches anyway. If he catches that touchdown, you're looking at it and going, of course I'm starting him this week. Things are trending in the right direction. So I think Justin Jefferson gets back on track against the Giants. He's a top 20 play for Barry at wide receiver 17. Emeka Egbuka in a massive division matchup against the Panthers. Only 2 games with 10-plus fantasy points since week 6. He started off as hot as anybody, was atop the Offensive Rookie of the Year race. It's been really a slow burn for Emeka Egbuka lately. But, I mean, big game. They're going to need him. I know Godwin and Mike Evans are back here, Jay, but are you sitting Emeka Egbuka? I mean, look at the names that he's behind right here.
Yeah, I'm a little more optimistic on Egbuka than this. Like, I would have Egbuka over Chris Godwin, over Michael Pittman. The thing with Egbuka is, I get that the route participation was down to 63% last week against Atlanta with Evans, Godwin, and McMillan all active, but this is more of a gut sense thing and just having watched that game. I thought he looked the best that he had in months. And I'm not sure if it was Evans being back, taking attention off of him, or just kind of hitting rock bottom against the Saints the week before where he dropped the touchdown pass. He looked a lot more like the guy from the first 5-6 weeks of the season. Now, he didn't have a huge statistical game, but he got into the 60s in yards. Baker missed him a couple of times. If Baker Mayfield's on the money on the second down that preceded the game effectively ending for Tampa, then Egbuka ends up, in the 80s for yards, and he's 5 for 82 or whatever. He looked good. He was making difficult catches, and he was getting open. So I get it with the usage, but I think Egbuka, I think that he can bounce back and be valuable.
James asked, should I start Egbuka or Addison? What do you think of that, Lawrence?
I'd go Egbuka.
Yeah, go Egbuka as well then. Yeah.
Jordan Addison.
Better QB, better.
Yeah. Sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
better
I think
QB, better offense.
The pendulum is going to swing back to Justin Jefferson over Jordan Addison because I don't think J.J. McCarthy is really viable to support 2 different wide receivers for fantasy. So I would go Egbuka there.
All right, let's keep it moving to our last one, a tight end, of course. Mark Andrews. If you try to figure out the Mark Andrews weeks, God bless you. 2 games with more than 34 receiving yards this season. Of course, he could find himself in the end zone at any moment. But he's tight end 20 for Matthew for a reason here, Lawrence, where you see names like, and I think it's justified, Colby Parkinson, Hunter Henry, Juwan Johnson, even Theo Johnson ahead of Mark Andrews right now.
Yeah, you said it, Connor. He could end up in the end zone at any time, but that's just not a bet that I'm willing to take. We talked about this last season when he had 11 touchdowns, but the receiving yardage wasn't there. He's tight end 40 in fantasy points per game since week 12. In that span, he's had under 20 receiving yards in 3 out of those 4 games. He had the good matchup last week against the Bengals. They kind of got ahead. They took the dogs off because Cincinnati couldn't score on their end, but still, you had the best matchup for tight ends there, and you couldn't do nothing with that. If you got Mark Andrews and you got Kyle Pitts on the same team, you're elated that you got Kyle Pitts on your team right now and could put him in over Mark Andrews.
It's Kellen Winslow to you, Kyle Pitts.
The real Kellen Winslow.
The OG.
Right.
Yeah.
The OG Kellen Winslow.
Yeah, I think you got to close it out on Mark Andrews, just given how ineffective he's been the past few weeks. But I do think for a sign of optimism, and it's not enough optimism to actually start Mark Andrews with anything resembling confidence, but I do think that Lawrence, your man Lamar Jackson, has looked the best that he has. This 2-week stretch is the best and the most spry Lamar has looked since I think the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, still not he not.
It's not Lamar Jackson yet.
He not MVP Lamar. He just like a normal quarterback that could win you the game, but these next few weeks, they're going to need that.
Yeah, it's like Pro Bowl alternate Lamar, not MVP Lamar.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah, for sure.
It does feel like a little bit of a random extension for Mark Andrews at age 30. 3-year extension. I know tight ends age better than most positions.
Yeah, I think it'd be that trust, man, that they have with the organization. There's so many other things he do on the field besides catch the passes. We know he ain't the most fleet-of-footed guy out there. Says a lot about what we could expect or Isaiah Likely, where he could be going moving forward.
Right.
Do you have a theory about Lamar and what's happened this season? Do you think he was just banged up and it's just taken ages to get over these injuries?
Yeah, he didn't look as fast as he usually is to me. I mean, he outruns literally everybody, and you'd see a linebacker spying him be able to chase him down. It's like I've never seen that happen before. So with a hamstring, it could be really, really tricky. And he's a guy that his athleticism matters so much to the pass game because you're so afraid of him beating you with with his legs that it opens up so much space, and when that goes, everything gets a little tighter.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him looking like Lamar.
It was the not this week against the Bengals, but against the Steelers the week before that when he ran for more than 40 yards and he took it upon himself to run the ball into the end zone. That's what you want to see. So the game against the Patriots coming up here, that's pretty much going to tell us what we need to know for the rest of the way with this team.
Yeah, I think with Lamar, even before he did the hamstring against Kansas City, like the week prior against Detroit, he got sacked 7-8 times by Detroit's pass rush. And it's
on him.
Lamar Jackson doesn't get sacked 7 or 8 times in a game. Something seemed off from the start, but hopefully getting further and further away from whatever was ailing him earlier in the season that he can get back. And also this Patriots defense has been fine, but we saw, once they get up against a real superstar quarterback like Josh Allen, you can absolutely get these guys. So Lamar Jackson, if he's right, he should be able to do it. When
the Patriots was up 21-0, did you feel like it was over? I did not.
No.
It was too early for them to be up that big.
Yeah, you knew the Bills were going to punch back.
Right.
I thought the Patriots would keep scoring. And they didn't really, outside of the Travion big run in the second half. But yeah, this Patriots definitely it's a middle-of-the-pack defense. And if Lamar Jackson's on his game, he should be able to score. And that's why Baltimore are, inching towards 3-point favorites.
All right, to recap, keep it open or close it out. We started with Justin Herbert at quarterback. He stays open right at QB 11. Quinshon Judkins, he's a top 20 play, as is Aaron Jones. Both stay open, but a close for Ashton Jeanty at RB 25. Rashee Rice, top 10 play. Justin Jefferson, keep the faith if you have it in you. Wide receiver 17. We think this might finally be the week. And then Emeka Egbuka is a close at wide receiver 37, as is Mark Andrews at tight end 20. You have a lot of better streaming options this week at tight end. We're going to take our first break. When we're back, and play a little bar trivia against you, the regulars, right after this.
The best Keanu movie, by the way, is Point Break. That's his best performance. Keanu has two modes. He either kind of is like wooden, cool, Matrix Keanu, Matrix John Wick, etc., speed, or he really tries to act. He can't really do it, but in Point Break, he really gives it a crack.
The last thing I will say is, believe it or not, this is a producer Adam show, not a Pack of producer Pete show, given the fact we've spent 5 minutes talking about Keanu Reeves.
We are back. No Keanu Reeves talk today.
Not yet.
But the League of Assholes playoff bracket, you betcha. Here it is right now with the with both of you getting to chill all week with the bye week.
I don't know how. My team's not that good.
Well, it's better to be lucky than good, Jay.
Well, you had all the quarterbacks, so that means somebody didn't have them.
Also, my team, it's Jackson Smith and Jigba is my team. He has carried.
Oh, well,
Good way to build the plane. Yeah.
He's carried me all season.
Lawrence, you're taking on Rotopat, king of the guillotine, by the way. Shout out to Rotopat, who won our guillotine league for the third year in a row.
That man cannot lose in that.
That's actually unbelievable. And then, Jay, you'll be taking on producer Steven, who put up over 200 points to producer Damien. I'd be a little nervous.
Well, exactly right. That's why I'm picking up Quinn Ewers in our league right now, just in case I take an injury. I need all the ammo to take down producer Steven, because my two backup quarterbacks were Daniel Jones and Jane Daniels. I don't think they're going to help me much this year anymore, but this will be good. Lots of bragging rights on the line, and the good thing is that Matthew Berry can't win the league. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, I was going to say, I honestly have not cared.
Yeah.
Once he started 0-7.
Oh yeah.
I was going
hey, he got to 6-7. It was like,
he did.
Hold on now.
Yeah.
And then one last dagger, I beat him in the consolation bracket.
Oh, that's
and I started Roma Dunze, who didn't play, by the way.
Yeah,
so
it's been a very good running bit of Matthew out-producing himself with how much he can lie about what is happening.
Yeah,
in that
I
league.
finished 5th in points.
It started in week 1,
10th.
where he blamed George Kittle's injury against the Seahawks for costing him his matchup, not acknowledging that George Kittle wasn't on his team. And then continued where, I believe, going into the final weekend, he claimed that he was either 7th or 8th in points for, I believe, 7th. When he was 10th.
He definitely was going to say 7th.
So not only he got lucky in the league, he actually had some things break right for him. I think I'm the most excited I've ever been for next year's draft. When we have the mic on him the whole time, just to see.
Because then he'll have to be talking about the defending champion being myself or Jay or Roto Pat or Steven, and we'll all be there.
It can't be forgotten what an absolute disgrace Matthew's performance was at the draft this year, where every time that he was given the opportunity to speak, it was like a soliloquy out of Hamlet.
Oh, it just went on forever.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so nonetheless, we won't get that.
The draft was 9
draft.
hours.
Yeah.
Why are you speaking in iambic pentameter? Why is he speaking like every time he's projecting out to the whole audience? Talk like a normal person.
You know the term they say, win like you've been there before, win like you've won something. So these past 2 years, I think it might have been the first 2 years that Mr. Berry has won something. So
he's been humbled.
All right, usually on Wednesdays we do a little blind date. We kind of have a twist on the segment this week. We're doing fantasy bar trivia, and this week the regulars can play along. I love when everybody in the chat is trying to guess. This week we'll give a couple different options, almost a multiple choice. Let's get right into it, guys. Question number 1, what quarterback is number 2 this season in fantasy points per pass attempt? Matthew Stafford leads the league. Number 2, we have hidden out for obvious reasons, and then it's Drake May, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. The multiple choice options are Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, or Dak Prescott.
I'm going to say this is not necessarily a trick question, but has trick aspects in that it's Sam Darnold because he throws so little.
And
so the per pass attempt, in terms of per play basis, he's been one of the most effective quarterbacks.
And the JSN effect you just brought up, all the explosive plays. I would agree. I think it's Sam Darnold. What do you think, Lawrence?
I was going to say Sam Darnold or Dak Prescott, but the JSN point is a good one. And I think even with those few games where he didn't have to throw a lot, big plays, Jackson Smith and Jigba leading the league in receiving yards. Give me Sam Darnold, too. At first, I was looking at the screen of all the top 5 guys, and I'm like, oh, these are all, like, top-tier quarterbacks. So I was going to go with another top-tier quarterback, but that's not really the case here. So give me Darnold.
All right, so all 3 of us went with Darnold. The chat A lot of votes for Darnold, a couple for Dak. I saw one in there for Trevor Lawrence, and Stuntman Chuck is saying Kyle Orton, going with a write-in vote.
That could be
Stuntman
fair.
Chuck,
Kyle
I like
Orton
it.
started 6-0 one time in Denver.
Didn't he play the years with, or was he before Demarius and them?
Daniel Sullivan said, who's voting on this if not the regulars, because it's not in the chat? I think you could scan that QR code and vote. Yes, you can scan that QR code and vote. We will keep it up as long as we need to so people can get in on the votes. That's where the votes are coming from. So we'll give everybody a second here. But Jerry Goff.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody got that
See,
right.
we mentioned-
Let me go up and see.
We mentioned Jackson Smith and Jigba and failed to mention their big play threat,
James Williams.
Jamison Williams.
He does have a lot of touchdown passes, Jared Goff.
DJ Ferrari and Old Maverick guy. I see they were both right. They both said Goff a long time ago. So nice job, fellas. And then looks like Vinny said Goff as well. So nicely done. Let's keep this going. Question number 2. What running back is number 2 this season in fantasy points per touch? Kind of running it back here. Instead, literally with the running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs is number 1. Number 3, ironically, a lot of people would not get this, is actually R.J. Harvey because of all the bizarre goal line work he gets. Devon A. Chan is 4. Jonathan Taylor is number 5. The multiple choice options that the regulars can vote on, and of course you could say them in the chat as well, is Travion Henderson, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Gainwell, and Christian McCaffrey. So I would rule out McCaffrey right away, guys, because his volume is
He has the
absurd.
most touches.
Gotta be
absurd.
Travion Henderson.
I think it's Travion.
I'm going to go with Kenneth Gainwell. We'll give the chat a couple minutes here. Zaki agrees with us. He said it's Hendo or Gainwell.
Great.
A lot of votes for Travion Henderson. A couple votes for Gainwell. There's actually kind of split. As we see the poll right now, 40% Kenneth Gainwell, 45% now Travion Henderson, and TW Gem said Cedric Benson. So, and Stuntman Chuck said Peyton Hillis.
Cedric Benson.
All right, and it is Kenneth Gainwell.
Of course. He has a big play every game.
This is one of those where whatever your initial instinct is not right.
Yes.
What was yours? I thought yours was actually.
It would be Travion, but then I said Gainwell because my instinct was Travion.
Yeah. Backup producer Pete, in all of our heads, it's like Bram Stoker's Dracula playing games with us. Unbelievable.
All right, question number 3, sticking with the running back theme here. Which running back is number 8 in scrimmage yards per game? And for some context here, we have the top 10, so you get a good idea of what this looks like. Bijan Robinson is number 1. Jonathan Taylor is number 2, and number 3 is Christian McCaffrey. No surprise here, guys. James Cook is number 4. Achan is 5. Jahmyr Gibbs, the last one that's over the 100-yard mark, at number 6. Then below 100 yards, but still cracks the list, Bucky Irving. Number 8's our mystery one. 9 is Derrick Henry. 10 is Josh Jacobs. The choices are DeAndre Swift, Rico Dowdle, Javonte Williams, or Travis Etienne Jr.
How is this not Rico? Scrimmage yards per game. He had 2 200-yard scrimmage games this year.
Done anything outside of that, though?
I think I'm going to go with Swift.
In a few other hundreds.
Thinking Swift, he just doesn't get the. Yeah.
Give me Rico.
You know, screw you guys. I'm going ATM.
This is the most, we all had different answers on the desk, and this is the most even the poll has been. Swift is leading at 34%, Rico Dowdle at 21%, Javonte Williams at 32% now. That's spiked up. Travis Etienne at 18.2%. The chat is mostly on Etienne, but Javonte is making a surge. Let's take a look at number 8. It was DeAndre Swift at 91.5 yards per game.
Receiving yards.
As Footballer points out, Swift has been so consistent. Right, he's
more
kind of the same guy every single week.
Yeah, he's playing really
out.
well too. I don't think he's like a scheme monster. If I like the year in Philadelphia, it's like, all right, well, you got massive holes opening for you. He's looking the part in Chicago.
Yeah, he's been a really nice value pick for all fantasy drafts. Our last one here, guys, or second to last one, question number 4. Let's get to the wide receivers, shall we? What wide receiver is tied for number 6 in red zone targets this season? And to give you an idea here, number 1, of course, is Devontae Adams. You didn't need any help with that one. Number 2 is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tied at 3 is Jamar Chase and Rashee Rice. They're both below 20, though. Adams and Amon-Ra are the only ones over 20. George Pickens, Nico Collins, and Juwan Jennings So Nico Collins, Jawan Jennings, and this player are tied at number 6 with 16 across the board. The options are Jackson Smith-Njigba, Troy Franklin,
Too obvious.
Wan'Dale Robinson, or Michael Wilson.
Just has to be Troy Franklin, otherwise why
I
would he
thought
be an
the same
option?
thing.
Yeah.
Troy Franklin, huh?
Yeah, I would have. If you'd asked me, I would have guessed that he had 7. But I guess he's on this list.
I say that about all these guys, but
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the fantasy football Lord and Savior, Michael Wilson. Seventh most? I'll go with Michael Wilson.
The chat is on Michael Wilson, pretty much across the board. One vote in there from Hey U86 at Wan'Dale. The vote, no one is voting for JSN.
Maybe
He's
Troy
under
Franklin's
2%
another
of the
trick
vote.
Watch
Yeah,
it
it's an
end up
instant
being
one.
JSN.
Yeah,
Because
it is Troy Franklin.
I'd rather
Yeah.
be Troy Franklin
We're
than
getting-
JSN.
I thought backup producer Pete may be playing some 4D chess there and just throws Jackson Smith-Njigba, but no, it is Troy Franklin. With 16 end zone targets, 1 less than George Pickens, 1 more than CD Lamb.
Very checkers, not chess, from backup producer Pete on that one. Number 5, our final question here, and of course we got to give some love to the tight ends. What tight end is 3rd in fantasy points per target this season? As you see the options right there, Kyle Pitts, Tyler Warren, Colson Loveland, Harold Fannin Jr., and the top 10 in the actual category are George Kittle at 1, Dallas Goedert at 2, number 3 is our mystery player, 4 is A.J. Barner, 5 is Brock Bowers, 6 is Trey McBride, Travis Kelce is 7, as is Mark Andrews as 8, Hunter Henry is 9, Aronde Gadsden is 10. Fantasy points per target is the question.
I'm going to say Colson Loveland.
I'm saying
I think there have been enough touchdowns. That's why, like, it's a tricky question. Like AJ Barner is 4th, right, ahead of Brock Bowers.
my thinking is, as soon as Connor read A.J. Barner, I said, if he's on this list, I'm picking Colston Loveland. All the other guys are like weekly starters.
Yeah. They get
Give me
too many
Colston
targets. Yeah.
Warren gets a lot of targets.
And all I got in my head is that game-winning touchdown for the Bears
Against
versus
the
the
Bengals.
Bengals. Yeah.
David said instinct is Loveland going Pitts. The chat has been all over Fannin. The voting is tied with Loveland and Fannin. Loveland just passed him.
Loveland.
And everybody knows it's not Warren. Too much volume. Kyle Pitts below. It is Colson
There we
Loveland.
There we go.
I almost went over.
No, you got it. You got it home. Very good. I like the poll feature for the chat for the regulars.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to bring this one back.
Good producing by backup producer
Yeah,
Pete.
nicely done. Pete is taking it personal, the whole feet up on the desk reading
What's
the newspaper.
with the broken clock. It's right twice.
Twice a fantasy football season.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that other show that hit? Or we're still waiting on it?
Yeah, we're still waiting.
This is the first
No,
one.
Sims is good sometimes.
Blind Date was pretty good. This is like Blind Date evolved
Yeah.
with technology.
Yeah, it mutated like the creatures in Alien.
Oh, man. Good God. All right. We're taking our last break when we're back. Back to the futures, as we do every single Wednesday, our favorite awards and futures bets right after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
That crown.
Crown is yours.
Crown is yours. Back to the futures. Jay, what do we got? This is a hell of a division right now in the NFC North. The Packers and Bears feel like almost a coin flip.
Yeah, and they are priced accordingly. The Packers plus 100, the Bears plus 105. The Lions, a bit more of a longer shot, being 2 games back, and some tie breaks going against them as well. They're 11-1, but I'm going to take the Fighting Chicago Bears at plus 105. They are inching towards being a coin flip, maybe a slight favorite against the Packers. And the issue, guys, for the Packers is their injury report, which is not good. And it's not just Micah Parsons, who's obviously unfortunately lost for the year, but Zach Tom is hurt,
right.
Star tackle. He's not been practicing. Evan Williams not practicing either. Christian Watson, health concerns there too. The Bears comparatively very healthy. The Bears very nearly beat the Packers when they played in Lambeau a couple weeks ago. So I think the Bears win this game, and I think they win the division plus 105.
What do you like, Lawrence?
I like the Ravens at plus 105 to win the AFC North. And guys who are watching, important what you just said, Jay, about the Packers' injuries, because when I look at the Ravens and the Steelers right now, even though the Steelers just won their most recent matchup, a lot of balls bounced away at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Ravens, as of today, are a better team. And when you look at their remaining schedule, Pittsburgh's got to go to Detroit, who's also fighting for their playoff lives. At least for Baltimore, they get the home game against New England. Then they go on the road to Green Bay. Jay just mentioned all those injuries. The biggest one, Micah Parsons. The Ravens' offensive line has been having trouble, and the Packers not having Micah Parsons is going to be big for the Ravens and for the Packers. And not Week 16, but Week 17. The Pittsburgh Steelers are only 3.5-point favorites right now against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. I think that's going to be an upset alert type of game. And then obviously at Week 18, you get the Ravens and Steelers again. I think when it comes down to it, Ravens just going to get them. Ravens have a much better defense at this point. Lamar starting to come into form. Give me the Ravens at plus 105 right now.
Yeah, and for context there, if it does come down to that Week 18 game, which I think it probably will, even though the game's in Pittsburgh, I think the market would price the Ravens as about 3-point favorites in that game.
Guys, I wanted to cook up something bold. Not as bold as Devin White, comeback player of the year.
That's bold as hell.
Yeah, I don't have that
He will
one.
not be winning.
I can't give that one out. I don't think he's on the board, despite the rumors.
For good reason.
Yes,
He's going
for
to come
good
back
reason.
for something in life, but I don't know if it's going to be that award.
So I'll dial it down a little bit and take the Saints over 5.5 wins at minus 115. Look at who the Saints play. They don't need to win all of these games, by the way. They need 2 of 3 against the Jets, which Jay and I really liked as our early line alert.
Yep.
They are 4.5-point favorites. Wouldn't be shocked if that moves. They're at Tennessee. And then they're against the Falcons, which they might not even need that win to clear this. Minus 115 to get 2 out of the last 3 games. Tyler Shuck's playing well. Staley's coaching up a good defense. The Saints have some talent on this team, and they're just playing better football right now, Lawrence.
Yeah, you look at their remaining schedule there. The Jets, who was the next one?
Titans.
The Titans.
Falcons.
This is a team that just beat the Bucks, Panthers, both of those teams scrapping for the top of the division. So I could see that. But it's like they kind of got like a whole new life right now. They're trying to see, like, hey, what do we got for next year?
That's exactly
Even
right.
outside of the quarterback position, they're like, let's see where we're at. And so dudes, they playing hard every week.
Yep, They got defense is playing well, and the offense, like Shuck is playing something like approaching league average play.
Yes.
Lately. So he's been very handy.
Aloha Bricks, NFC North or NFC West? Which one is the best division to watch these next weeks?
I think it's the NFC West,
I
just
agree.
because we've got these like Seattle against the Rams tomorrow night. That's the game of the season, basically, because that is likely going to shape who gets the 1 seed in the NFC. It's likely going to shape who wins MVP. If Stafford wins that, then that's pretty much good night for that race. If he loses that game, then all of a sudden he's like plus 350 to even win his own division. And then I think your MVP is, I think it'll be Josh Allen in that scenario.
I'm going to go with the NFC West as well because I feel like it's much more competitive. And producer Pete, I dropped the backup there, right there for you, Pete.
Wow.
He just mentioned that the 49ers still have a shot to win this division. So definitely going to be the NFC West for me. And like I said, I think the Ravens are a little further ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers than the rest of the NFC West teams are. So definitely NFC West.
Yep. A couple other ones before we get out of here. Coach of the Year, Kyle Shanahan, is plus 750. Which I think is wrong. He's plus 390 to run the slate, at least but I make them. Kyle Shanahan runs the slate, goes 13-4. That's I think that is your Coach of the Year. And then Aiden Hutchinson, mentioned him yesterday, but 30-1 to win comeback player of the year. A long shot, unlike Devin White, who actually can win.
Who's probably not on the board still,
Yeah,
despite the rumors. We opened the show talking about Tua being benched. How about this as Quinn Ewers makes his NFL debut? The last Texas quarterback to win his first NFL start. That would be Chris Sims in Week 5 of 2004.
That guy.
Our coworker, Chris Sims. Vince Young, Colt McCoy, and Sam Ehlinger all lost their debut.
Who wore that number 2 better for the Bucs?
Man.
Chris Sims or Kyle Trask? I'm going to go with Chris Sims,
That's one of the cleanest uniforms
It is.
in all of football. An absolute
Just
classic.
that and the throwbacks, too, all of that.
All right, boys. That's it for us. Tomorrow, you guys will be back. Matthew will be back. It'll be love-hate on a Thursday. But that wraps up our Wednesday show. To producer Pete, not backup producer Pete. For Jay, for Lawrence, I'm Connor. See you guys tomorrow.